Move on.
I have a lot of needs. Here is one that out here. Up here. I don't understand.
We're not on a bridge yet. CJ, are we live again?
Yeah, I thought you said you were coming out of executive session.
That's okay. So we
Right?
live?
Okay.
We're not
yeah.
live yet. We are live. Okay.
You guys can decide. Okay. Where are we going?
We're signing some forms here, so just give us a moment.
And there's two to sign, so each of you need to sign in this spot.
So Bronwyn, next time you and Joe come in, hopefully sooner than later, you can sign these for Mrs. Munson.
Need to have this in there.
No problem.
I'll stop by, no question.
All right, thank you.
This one's just for you. Figured I better nab people while I can. Good idea.
Sometimes these chairs. The rains of course.
Are you still going on?
No. You gonna go out the side door?
Yeah.
So I think the front door is locked. Okay,
Have a good night.
good night.
Thank you.
I thank you again for the tour last week.
Thank you.
Well,
Okay, we're live again, right, CJ?
You got it.
Okay. Okay. What do we have left?
Dave Eric's report.
All right,
There isn't one, but
okay,
we didn't talk about it, so I thought maybe.
all right. So there's Dave Harris. Now we go to the boardroom reports. Andre, you want to lead off?
Sure. The library report is here already, and also the services. Everybody's been commented before, but everybody's doing everything by Zoom as far as meetings. It's going okay. Not the greatest, but it's. I did attend by Zoom, the CAC, our Conservation Advisory Committee. And working really hard on this Beaver Lake Scenic Highway overlay district. And it was glad to see what they do. And they're very dedicated, and I think it's gonna be quite good for the town.
Okay. Brown?
All right. This past month, there are two things I've been working on. Actually, almost, if not all of my regular meetings were canceled. I mean, there was a ZBA, but you see what was done in CJ's report. But the two things that I've been working on are the Nyserda Clean Energy campaign. Ed and I have had a couple meetings with Lisa Marshall from Heat Smart. And there's going to be a presentation to kind of launch our official town campaign. There's going to be a presentation on February 2nd at 7, where folks from Heat Smart and people who've had heat pumps and such put in. I'm going to be able to answer questions and address any questions that people have. And then the other thing is, like the LACPPF presentation at the last meeting, we've been talking, we were talking about scheduling a special meeting to discuss that whole big situation. And I am proposing that we schedule that soon, next week or the week after, if possible. So we can really look at what we need to address and what we want to do. I propose that the scope be inviting Irene Weiser to come. I think I got her last name first. And to kind of give an overview of what crypto is, how it relates, and present it so both the town board can really understand it, but also it's kind of embedded within Lansing information, because I think a lot of people, it's a really complicated issue, and getting it so as many people as can understand it, I think would be really good. And then having someone, CJ knows Jordan, whose last name I did not write down here.
Decker.
Asking her if she could come. We haven't figured that out yet, but asking her if she could come, thinking that she may be able to help guide us with ideas of what we can do. The LACPPF brought forward some things, but some of them seem very specific to towns where there's electric, municipal electric, which we don't have. And so what are our options? What should we look at? What should we do? So those are the two people I'd really like to have part of that conversation. But to get that going and to invite people specifically, we need to have a more specific charge and a date, or a range of dates to let people work with.
Let me ask you a question. Does Irene Weiser give a presentation?
What?
Does Irene Weiser give a presentation?
Yes.
Can she tape that? We can put it right on the website now. Do the presentation, and we'll put it right on the website right now. We'll put it all over the place. I am not, how's this go? I'm comfortable with a moratorium, okay? But once again, we've already talked about this, so it isn't reactive. If people want to we need to have some parameters on what that moratorium would be and what we're going to do with this, right? I mean, if you want to zone it out of the industrial, okay. More than that, though, it's energy intensive projects, right? It isn't just saying we're going to zone out both Bitcoin. Okay, that's what we want to do. We talked to legal about it, and we don't let Bitcoin come in. That's what you want. The bottom line, though, is that these data centers, are they energy intensive? So are we looking at energy intensive? Which we have to be very careful not to just all of a sudden say that means we're not going to have data centers. I don't think
right.
That's
and I'm saying, I think we need a whole meeting to hash through that. Even if we are all saying we want to do a moratorium, I think we need a meeting to hash through what that looks like. And I love the idea. Yeah, and I love the idea of putting Irene's presentation up ASAP. But then also, I think having her come so we can say, wait, can you explain this part more? You know, kind of asking her to come and answer questions directly would be really useful also.
I think she's a source of information out there. And once again, I am not in favor of a special meeting in January because we're one person short in the clerk's office, number one, because somebody's in quarantine right now during tax season. But if this is something you want to do, maybe the first week in February, have a special meeting. Okay, we can call a special meeting. Now, as you know, to do a special meeting, I got to have 2 people from the town board in writing tell me I want a special meeting before I call a special meeting, unless I call it myself. And my apologies, Mrs. Munson, but the bottom line is that I think we do in February, the special meeting. I also want to have the parameters in place for a moratorium if you really want to do this, because because they say get your ducks in a row, I want to know what that means. This is something also that CJ will not be the lead on this because we have boo-boo stuff to do elsewhere. But if the LACPPF people want to take the lead on this and design a moratorium and do the heavy lifting, have at it. You got a year, okay? I think 18 months might be too long. I'm looking for counsel. I'm not against the moratorium. I just want to put some parameters in place And if we have to pass that at our regular meeting in February, we can do that. Or if we want to pass it at our special meeting, we can do that, depending on the procedure. I'm not against that. I give you a lot to work with on this. But I think a special meeting, probably the first Wednesday of the month might be more appropriate to do that. But also have those parameters in place of what we want to do to move a moratorium in place if we want to.
Well, I don't know that we know what we want to do until we've had the meeting to answer the questions. I think that we'd be speaking to stuff that we don't understand until we've had this meeting to help guide
Then maybe
what we want to
do
do.
a special meeting in the first week in February to get all this information out there, get stuff on the website, all this other stuff, and then maybe at our regular meeting that we would have on the, was it 16th, whatever it is, whatever that third Wednesday is,
On calendar.
or 17th, whatever it is. I think it's the 16th. That we put something together. If you really want to do this, but we also with a moratoria, we have to make sure we want to do something specific, right? There has to be an action plan in place.
Right, and I'm not necessarily saying that we need to do a moratorium. I want to look at all our options. Like I think this is a big enough issue. It's the LACPF has sort of presented the report and given their suggestions, and I think we as the town board need to move forward with the next steps because it's a lot of judgment calls, and I think we need to be the ones to be driving this.
I agree with Bronwyn. I agree with Bronwyn that we really need to have a separate meeting on this. And I hear that Debbie's really busy with taxes until the end of this month. And I think that's a really reasonable request to push it till the first weekend or the first Wednesday in February. So I would like to see us just agree now that we're going to have a meeting on the first Wednesday of February that's dedicated to this issue. And let's see who we can bring in to help inform us more.
Okay.
That being said, we'll have to reschedule the Heat Smart campaign meeting because that we had sort of tentatively scheduled on that date. But I feel an urgency in this. I think if, the fact that it went from like holidays to January tax craziness has made it so this is already further back than I would like for good reason. But I'd like to do it on the second.
And I'm all, okay, I think we're in agreement with that. So the first Wednesday at 6:30 in February. I think that I would like to have people in there that will give us accurate, truthful information and not inflammatory editorials. And hopefully not too many clearlies, whatever, in there. But basically give us the facts on what we can do to see about the Bitcoin concern and cryptocurrency and everything else. Also, I think, Bronwyn, I have a IAED now, right? Meeting at the end of this month. That used to be the TCAD. We're going to be looking at the RFPs for the dark fiber that's coming up to the old power plant, for lack of a better term. My understanding is that this group wants to go through North Lansing. Is that correct? Is that the route you would prefer?
Yeah, the plan that goes throughout the town and adds all the people who aren't on line in that plan, not the one that goes up the lake shore.
Yes. So there's two RFPs out there for the dark fiber, right? Because we're a coal impacted community. We have this, is it the ARC grant, CJ? Is that the one I'm looking at?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Around next something. Anyways, this is where it allows.
Appalachian Regional Commission.
Thank you, I'm sorry. That is where the dark fiber can come up and roughly up to the old power plant so they can do this data center. It's the backbone, right? We talked about before, of the internet coming through. And there's two RFPs. One is to come up the east shore of the lake from where Guthrie is over by Trip Hammer, right? Up that way. The other RFP, correct me if I'm wrong, is to go up outside the area where there is no internet, up into the North Lansing area and around that way. Keep in mind that the dark fiber, you can go 2 miles on each side of the ribs, so you can catch the internet that way. And it'd be much more productive to go in North Lansing where there is no internet, as opposed to the one that is on the east shore. This is the one that you're recommending, right? From the broadband committee or whatever, Brown,
Yes.
that you're recommending, Joe. So
Yeah.
I will be your advocate at this meeting to try to approve that one. And by the way, the old power plant is kicking in $450,000 of their own money to get this thing done. Okay, plus we're getting money from the county and the federal government also to do this. So this is one of the things we want to jump on this, to do this. So anyways, having said that, these are two separate issues. Cryptocurrency and data center broadband are different as far as this goes. And I'm all in favor of that moving forward. But I'm not in favor of cryptocurrency because I have concerns about that. And I think this is a flash in the pan. I don't think this is going to be around a year or two from now myself at the same impact. We're all on the same page? I think we are. Good.
As for
So-
who to
sorry.
invite to this meeting, look, are we going to figure that out here, or how should we sort that out? What do you think of my recommendations? What do you think, Andrew and Ruth? I'm curious.
You talk about the first meeting in February.
Yeah, for this special meeting.
I would think there'd be a working session. There's no actions done, unless you want actions, that's fine by me. What do you two think?
That it's just an informative meeting. But open to the
Yeah.
public.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Throw it right out there.
Oh, I agree.
Throw it right out there. See what's out
I hope that she's available, because she's a good speaker. She knows her stuff. I mean. So maybe you should
Well-
check on that first.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I have to send notices to various places, like several places when you do a special meeting, so. Yeah, I guess I thought it was already figured out that she could be there, so I guess I better not send any notices out till somebody lets me know that.
No, we need
So-
to confirm. I'm wondering if ideally we could have a backup date if she
Week
can't do
after.
then, so we don't have to reconvene to have this discussion again.
week after, the next Wednesday after. So just do
Or
it.
how about Thursday or something? You wanna go?
Yeah, because sometimes people have could we do it Thursday if Wednesday doesn't work? We could just do it the next day.
I'm trying to think if I have anything planned.
Is that February
Right.
3rd?
Yeah,
That's
Or the day
Conservation
before.
Advisory Council.
okay. What about the first, CJ? Do you know, is there anything standing on the first?
Not that I see in the evening anyway.
Maybe that could be our backup.
Brown, you want to send out an email to people, see what their availability is?
Yep. Yep, I'll reach out to the folks that we want to present.
And also to the board members. What's our window here? I think it's 10 days, isn't it? Mrs. Munson, to call me before it.
No, it can be done shorter time than that.
Okay.
But if you want it advertised in a lot of places or to the Journal, it takes, I gotta send it in and they have cutoffs, so.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
a week, at least a week time would be.
Yeah.
time
Yeah, I
to
mean,
get
I'm
it.
hoping to get this done ASAP for sure, so.
I just sent a notice to Irene. I'll let you know if I hear back from her before the meeting's over.
Okay. Anything else, Brown?
I know that's all. Thanks, guys.
That's quite a
So
report.
could I ask one more question, Bronwyn?
Yep.
So on your Nyserda report, you said there was a presentation on February 2nd, which you're now saying you may have to change. So I guess I'll just leave it that you're gonna have a presentation at sometime in
Yeah.
February. Is that?
Yeah, leave the date off the minutes and I'll confirm with Lisa when we have this set, and then I'll send an email to let all of you know when it is.
Anything else, Brown? Okay, good job. How you doing?
Hi. Well, the only thing I've done this month is I did attend the training, the 2-day training put on by AOT.
How's that?
That was wonderful, very informative, got a lot out of that.
Good.
I did attend the ITCTC Planning Committee meeting the other day, yesterday. And it was, I don't know how much detail you want on this, but they did discuss some administrative modifications regarding the driving rail trails. Phase that was basically a timing difference and some funding modification for some other projects, but I don't know if there was anything. They did take a lot of calls from other municipalities talking about projects that they would like to see in their area. Which would have been nice to have some more in there for Lansing, but.
Well, we've just begun.
We've just begun, yeah. So that's my report.
Perfect. Okay, Joe?
I went to 2 planning board meetings, one of which basically got canceled because the lawyer for the residents around the proposed dollar store objected to the meeting based on it not having the agenda posted a day in advance. And I'm not sure how strong his argument was, but the planning board decided to be more safe than not, than anything else. And so they canceled the meeting, and we'll discuss it next. And then we had another planning board meeting in which we discussed the overlay district a bit, and it's getting sent back both to CAC and to the new, what is it? Not codes committee, one of the new committees we created, whose name I'm having trouble remembering, but I'm on it, and you're on it, Ed. CJ can give me the name.
Code revision.
Code revision, thank you.
You've got it.
And we're going to start to see how that process works. I'm really excited about the new codes revision committee. I think that's really going to help us formalize a process for changing our code, which has been kind of haphazard up until now. And that's my report for this time.
Okay, so you mean code, you mean zoning? You mean code is not the code office? Lots of
Yeah.
things here. Yeah, I mean, I think what we need to do, and, there's different ways that people go about this when they get their comp plan done. Different municipalities, sometimes they let the planner write it, and then they send it to the planning board, and then they send it to the public, they send it to the town board. If we want to do it this way, that's fine, because this thing, now it's been 4 years since the comp plan has been passed, and it needs to be done. And this is something that has been kicked down the road, for whatever reason, and I'm not going to criticize fellow supervisors, because I wasn't in that chair then, not in their situations. They did the best they could, what they thought was best for the town, so let's leave it at that. I think this might be a way to facilitate this. I will say, though, that I want to have, an action plan moving forward and something to bring to these different boards to review and move the process along sooner than later. So there'll be emails going out soon for people's availability, how we can do this, move it forward, get something down to the planning board to look at, their recommendations, have the public input, and go from there before we finally have our public hearings for the town board to pass something, because we need to pass something. That's one reason why we didn't have the moratorium. We got a year. And I will be extremely disappointed if we don't have something passed by October, November of this year. It's aggressive, but you know what? Sometimes when you're in a certain habit, you need to shake things up and you need to move as far as this goes. We already have an ag plan proposal there that can be reviewed for starters, and we'll see where that goes. Website is critical. We get this up and running. No criticisms to the other website that was done, but we find a tremendous void here with the Lansing Star no longer there. And quite frankly, our planning department is getting beat up simply because of lack of accurate information. And there's a void there, people fill in the worst case scenario with all their expert analysis. And we've seen it time and time again with other situations here where there wasn't the accurate information. And whether it's this situation, whatever. We have a highway building project that's going to be proposed soon. We have accurate information on that. We need to have the cost analysis on the impacts, what has to be done. And quite frankly, with the highway department building, this is not a no, we're not going to do it and walk away, because we don't have sprinklers in it. We don't have a lot of things in it. We're looking at 16 to 18 months to get a new truck if they're available. And we're going to be in a pickle if we don't get something done soon for that. So these are different things we want to use. The website would be one way to do this and move forward with that. Okay. So that's critical. We get this going. CJ and I met with the Open Gov people today. There's another nice homework assignment for us to do as we pick through this along with Pat, and we'll get that going soon with Open Government. Once again, 21st century, the network, here we go. So everybody is on the same page as far as what we do with this, especially highway and code and the parks. What else? I am now with Bolton Point. I'm on the 4th committee now. I'm on the regular one for commissioners. I am finance. I'm on the personnel chair, and now I'm doing engineering operations. So I get to see how the sausage is made, right? How they do the water, right? Which is critical. And Joe, you weren't at the last meeting. I know you had other stuff to do, but there was a bid put out for that property we were looking at, and it was accepted for 600,000. Okay. I pushed it forward just to get the conversation started, whether it's 650, it went to 600, they're fine. So good for us. Okay. That's to get another access pipe to the water. Okay, I'm doing that at Bolton Point. Having said all that, moving forward, this is a new year, another exciting year. We have another board member, which means our personality on the board changes a little bit overall, but we will embrace the assets you have, Ruth. We'll try to be patient as we bring up to speed, but I also see this as a learning opportunity for me as you bring your expertise here, only making the board better. So having said that, we look for positive results, we look for positive impacts for all of Lansing, and I think we can get the yes on a lot of these things without hurting people and not dividing people. But we're no longer, Lansing is no longer harvest gold and avocado green. Sorry. We're in the 21st century, and we've seen the different departments as they evolve. The highway department is probably one of the last ones where the big six were hired. As they evolve out, we have new leadership there, just like we do with the planning department, just like we do after a few years with Pat and the rec department. We have Deb. I mean, all these different departments from 10 years ago have changed dramatically, and that's okay. That's all part of the evolution. Thank everybody who worked in the past, and we have an excellent group of employees as far as this goes. Other than that, blah, blah, blah. I have nothing more to report right now, just different committees and being a zombie all day today from all the Zoom meetings. But moving forward on this, you want to go in the work session? The ethics board, you got 5 members. You guys figure out where you want to put them. You got 5 applications. Where you want to put them? Send something out. We'll get this thing done in February.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
Who are you referring to as the 5?
Well, Jay Franklin, you got Jamie Ferris, you got Diane Withiam. Okay, bear with me here. Not Greg Travis, because he was on the ZBA. Not
Matt Montag.
Matt Montag, yes. Kevin Wiskowski, no. And the one who did the canvas.
John Dunn.
Put him on.
Okay,
Great.
I'm good with that. Let's move forward with that batch.
I don't want, okay, my personal opinion is I don't want Jay Franklin to be at 5 or 1. I'd like him to be at 3 years. There's got to be a transition there.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay, for the leadership. Talk to Diane with him about this. She's fine with this. She just doesn't do a lot of meetings. Okay, I think they're going to have to do probably a minimum of 2, which is what, to approve all the stuff we fill out, amongst other things, but hopefully there isn't more than that. Hopefully we won't have any hiccups. That are alarms. So that
Meeting's over, says the dog.
Karen's comes home and the dog announces it.
Okay, it's the sound of the dog. Is there anything else you want to talk about tonight? Go ahead. This is
You're gonna have a resolution for the ethics board for next time? So is
Yes.
someone writing that or am I putting that together? Because if I'm putting it together, I need more information than names.
I
Are they all
can,
gonna
I-
expire in 1 year or 2 years or staggered years or?
I move that we do this resolution. Resolve that the following be appointed as members of the Board of Ethics and then with their dates. Matthew Montag, 12/31/22, Jay Franklin, 12/31/23, Diane Withiam, 12/31/24, John Dan, 25, and Jamie Ferris, 26. I had no strong reason I put anybody where I did. It was just to get it done.
Can you move Franklin to 3 instead of 2? Flip flop those 2.
Sure. So
And-
Montag in 24, Diane in 23, Jay Franklin in Matt Montag in 22, Diane Withiam in 23, Jay Franklin in 24, John Dan in 25, and Jamie Ferris in 26.
I'd like to see my mom take stay in a year.
What was that?
I would like John to be the one that's only a year, and that could stay longer.
So is Withiam 4? Who's 4?
And who's for?
I moved Diane with him to be done in 24.
In 23, you said. You moved her back to
Yep.
23.
Nope, you're right, 23.
And Jay
And-
Franklin, 24?
Yes.
And Jay Franklin, 24.
So
And
maybe
did you
put
say
Mon-
something? I had him at 22, but I don't care. I can switch it.
So maybe put Montag at 4 years and put Dan.
John Dunn.
John. Dunn
Sure,
at 1 year?
swap the two of them. Sure, because they can reapply, right? It's not like they're done. So
No term limits.
Yes.
Absolutely.
yeah. So it doesn't really matter. Yeah. So then it would be John Dunn. Is that his name? Would be for 1 year. Diane with him for 2. Jay Franklin for 3. Matt Montag for 4. Jamie Ferris for 5.
Okay. So we'll have that at our next meeting.
Yeah.
Can we just do it now?
Can we just wait till February meeting, please?
Sure.
I wasn't gonna offer this time.
I mean, the resolution is not written. If something gets written, there's something wrong. It's just easier to have everybody see it in writing exactly and make sure they're okay with that before we have to redo it all over again. So,
Hey, I think we got the heavy lifting done.
yeah, as long as we have the information, it's fine. But
All right.
when you start writing resolutions, there's always something that comes up. So,
Yeah, I copied it verbatim from something in the organizational resolution, but if it's easier, we've waited a year, it's
It
fine.
doesn't hurt to cut and paste. It's all good. We've got a lot of stuff done tonight. Do you want to adjourn now or you want to keep going?
Dan,
I'm good.
I got 3 here that. I mean, do you want to adjourn for tonight? You okay with that? You got a lot.
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Okay, so
Wait,
All right,
guy
I
has
just
something he
want to
wants
make,
to say.
yeah,
Oh,
I just want to make sure that you know that what I'm going to need to say on all of the land issues that we're being bothered about, i.e. the county for the town center, I'm just going to tell them, well, I was wrong. We didn't address it in January and I'm still wrong. We didn't address it in February.
I think we need to go into executive session.
We were supposed to have a discussion about the offers for the property at the town center. We were gonna do that
Yep.
in December and we didn't. Now we're gonna do it in January. And if you want to adjourn, that's your choice. I just have to go back to the county and everyone else and say, well, we didn't get to it again, maybe February.
my
I
apologies, guys.
That's
I move we
okay.
go
I mean,
into-
it's up to you. It's not my meeting.
move that we go into executive session to discuss property acquisition issues.
I second it. All in favor?
wait, I need to write this down.
I'm trying to get you out of here.
Okay, but by 7:30 tomorrow morning, I'm not going to know all this if I don't write it down.
You have the helm.
Okay, so we're gonna move to executive session for number 3,
Acquisition of land. Potential.
okay, and you made the motion?
Joe made the motion and I
Joe.
seconded it.
Okay, I just have a quick question right before this. This is a question for Guy. Joe made a motion to adjourn the meeting and Bronwyn seconded the motion.
never know.
We didn't vote, but a motion was made that we didn't vote on. So do we need to vote on that and vote it down and move on to this? Or
Can
that's
we table that?
I'll
Well, if there's any
withdraw it.
num- Yeah,
You'll
just
withdraw.
withdraw it.
perfect, withdraw, perfect. Okay, so now we have moved to executive session for the acquisition. Joe and Ed, and all in favor?
I
Aye.
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 Any opposed?